What's up, everybody? This is Chris Albert. I got a question today about bro splits versus push-pull. You guys know I don't like the label bro for anything. I think that that's a reactionary move on the part of certain people who are trying to capitalize on demonizing the old school of bodybuilding when it doesn't necessarily need to be demonized. It just needs to be fixed. But what I will say is this. As somebody with a powerlifting background, I'm looking for something. Can't find it, but I'll find it in a second. I have definitely used push-pull a lot in the past, and I really like it. What I would say is that a lot of the push-pull routines that I do see, they're not what I would say incorporating some of the things you need to avoid certain muscle imbalances. So for instance, I've seen certain push-pull routines that have bench press and then overhead press and then tricep extensions and dips, which is great. That's a fantastic routine. At the same time, what comes to my mind when I think of doing that much pushing is a shoulder impingement coming from too much work on the front deltoid. I, as a trainer, would put some rear deltoid work in there, which some of you might consider pulling. When I think of things, I don't think of things in terms of, whether or not I'm doing something that's been old school and friggin' not new or anything like that. I think of things in terms of how are my muscles coming into play? How do I bring them into balance? If you're doing a lot of pushing on a certain day, you do have to incorporate some pulling there. Now, again, I'm not arguing against a push-pull routine. Obviously, I definitely find merit in it. But I think that some of this thinking about bro ways of doing things is tossing out a lot of the good things that could keep people from getting injuries and things like that. What I would say is this. My preferred routines focus around compound movements. And for each day, we focus on a particular compound movement. For instance, if you are overhead pressing, we work along that movement pattern. Now, pretty much, in my opinion, overhead press and bench press are pretty much the same movement, just one is vertical and one is horizontal. And if you're doing it any other way, then you are doing it incorrectly, because overhead pressing is like this, and then bench pressing is like this. You can't really see that on the camera, but the elbow should be coming more to the side than being flared out. Otherwise, you're looking for a shoulder injury. Basing things around movement patterns will keep you in kind of this push-pull routine that you're all talking about. At the end of the day, I think that this debate is more of a matter of semantics than anything. When I create my programs for my clients, I look at their specific issues. I look at their individual postures. I look at their individual muscle imbalances, and I create routines that are based around those. And you should too for yourself. Listening to anybody, including myself, and having them tell you that any one way is the best way, you should always be skeptical of it. There is no one best way of doing things. I'm not God. Nobody else on YouTube is God. And so anytime somebody says, oh, dude, you're doing this wrong, but this is a much better way of doing things, then you should be skeptical of it. And you should do your own research and figure out what's right for you, because what works for me doesn't necessarily work for anybody else, and what works for you might not work for anybody else. Yes, some of the people you're watching might be getting outstanding results from one method or another, but who's to say how you are going to react to the training? So try everything you can. Experiment with your training and read. Do a lot of reading. Figure out what the merits are of each program and do it for yourself. That's all I got. Have a great freaking night, people.